Hey guys, bit of a random video here. It's gonna be a quick one too. Just feel like talking about this. So this is a character I'm working on, a character that I'm really fond of, by the way. And while working on him, I began to deal with the concept of what it means to be the strongest, which led me down the obvious holes like the Gojo and X and whatnot. But actually, when I started looking at two particular people who I really like to consider when I think about what it means to be the strongest, I kind of began to see like a clear distinction between like their roles. Like they were both technically the same things in their respective verses, but their role as the strongest had, at least in my opinion, two very different effects on the populace, especially on the younger generation, I guess. So these two characters would be Gojo from Jujutsu Kaisen and All Might from My Hero Academia. Now, I think it's very possible and very easy to look at these two characters and their title as the strongest and think that there isn't really much of a difference in the title and its connotations for both of them. Both of them are pound for pound the strongest in their verse. Whenever they show up, it's going to go really bad for the bad guys. Whenever they show up, the good guys probably got it in the bag. And I mean this, them in their prime, by the way, not whatever happened to either of them down the line in the story of the manga. Like when they were the strongest, All Might the strongest, Gojo the strongest. I believe it's very easy to look at that and be like, they're both the strongest. There isn't really much of a difference. But I would argue there is a difference. There actually is a very big difference. And I only really realized this while I was, doing research for the character that I'm working on. And I think out of both of these characters, I really prefer and I really admire All Might's version of being the strongest. Now, one thing seemed very common in the Bible when it talked about strength and what strength is. It would always say something along the lines of finding our strength in God, finding our power in the Lord. Our power comes from Him, and His power is made perfect in our weakness. And when the more I was doing that research and looking about that, I kind of started to think about All Might a little bit and how the students and other heroes viewed him. Now, don't get me wrong. Gojo is a great character, and I think he is a very interesting and a very cool depiction of what it can mean to be the strongest. But I think that the big difference between Gojo's version of being the strongest and All Might's version of being the strongest is that Gojo's strength never really seemed to empower others. I think it actually did the opposite because whenever Gojo would show up, people would just kind of oh, he's here, let's get out the way, let's leave it to him. Or when he would arrive, or because they know Gojo's gonna be around, they're kind of complacent in a way. While he taught his students directly how to use their powers, I really don't think Gojo's strength or presence did much to inspire the students to kind of want to be like him when it comes to that factor, like wanting to be emanate that or wanting to be like Gojo. Probably because they thought it would never happen because bro has the six eyes and limitless, which is crazy. But Gojo didn't really do much to dissuade them. I feel like all the time they glazed Gojo, they were kind of always putting themselves steps below him in their mind. And that's what they always were gonna be as far as the mentality is concerned. But All Might, the way All Might kind of moved around with his strength is that he almost did it. No, not almost. He did do it in a way where I want everyone looking at me as the symbol of hope, or not everyone, but I want every hero, like the new coming generation, to look at me and surpass me. Like there are so many scenes of whether it be students, whether it be pro heroes like Endeavor, all try or having these moments, these All Might emanating moments where you really understand that All Might was more than just oh, the guy we leave it to. All Might was the inspiration. And when it came time for him to no longer be able to move the way he was moving, they kind of already had like solid replacements because all that time that he was Prime All Might, he was already pushing them to be like him. And the reason that really resonates with me as I'm working on this character is because when it comes to God, Lord Almighty, Jesus Christ, the Holy Trinity, all of it, we are never going to be able to be as sinless and as perfect as Jesus Christ. But by Jove, he spent so much time inspiring us and telling us to be more like him. Not to leave the holiness to him, not to leave the good deeds to him, not to leave the helping of people on this earth to him, but to try our best to be his hands and feet, emanate that. And when we feel weak, when we try and we fail in our weakness, his strength shines more. It's that inspiration. It's that time when I really don't feel like doing it, but I remember what Christ went through. I remember all that, and I'm like, I got one more in me. I lock back in because that's just how inspiration works. I wouldn't just say, oh, I did my bit, Christ got the rest, right? Yeah, he's almighty, he's all powerful. Yeah, he can get this one, I'm out. Because in my position, when Christ was here, that wouldn't be what he did, because that wasn't what he did. He always went the extra mile. It just the same way when Deku was fighting Shigaraki, even in the worst moments, he didn't let up because he knew in his mind, All Might wouldn't let up either. But yeah, that's my take on it. And remember, it's just an opinion. Might be different from yours, it might not. But yeah, I think I'm ranting a little bit too long. This was supposed to be a 5-minute video. But yeah, just like a random video. And I know, right, that a lot of y'all are asking when is the next song. The next song is coming. It's probably gonna be a To Be Hero X song because X is too nice. But I just feel like talking about this. And I did say I'd make videos about whatever I wanted to from now on, just because I just don't only feel like making music. I don't know. I just want to have like a channel that's like, it's me, Crucible, music, and whatever thoughts I feel like putting out there. But yeah, good talk, guys. I hopefully the next video is a song, but if not, I hope you tune in for that too. Peace. And that's how fast your life can change when you turn around from your sinful ways.